I told you guys yesterday that I would 100%, be expecting a pullback to this 30-minute 50. Literally went over that we are super extended from the moving averages here. We were super extended all the way up in here. We end up getting the 655 puts for this Friday since we pick new contracts every Monday and Friday. So these are the ones we had. And oh my gosh, my chart's glitching out. And yeah, I told you guys we have this. Oh my gosh, man, I'm never gonna. I think it's my mouse that kind of messes with this. I think my mouse is partially broken. Probably need a new one. But all right, so we ended up, closing the day on Friday all the way down to here. Very extended from the moving averages. And when we get this massive extension from the 50, like 90% of the time, we're getting a pullback. I mean, probably like 95% of the time, we're getting a pullback within the next day or two. And that's exactly what we got today. And it was based on news. Literally, a news candle came out. I think Trump tweeted something. And NQ pumped like 700 points in 2 minutes, which absolutely crazy. There's probably some people that got absolutely like crushed, and some people that got absolutely, banked on that because it was such a drastic move. I doubt this. Like if you had a stop loss and you were short during that time, I doubt you got filled at the correct price where you had your stop. If it was like a stop order or stop market order, then you probably got absolutely rinsed. But yeah, we ended up getting a massive pump overnight, and we ended up pulling back here, closing below the 50, dropped a bit, and then pulled back into the 50 later on in the day. And my thoughts right at open was I was still a bit bearish. I mean, based on where we were still hovering around the 1 hour. Same thing with the 2 hour and the 4 hour. I'm still not quite that bullish, just because of where we're at here, higher time frame wise, especially with how the monthlies look, which I'll go over in a second. But my thought process today was still okay, I'm gonna be looking for shorts, because massive rip overnight into massive supports. I mean, I'm looking for some sort of short opportunity from there. And okay, if we start to cross a negative on the 4 hour, if the 4 hour goes negative and the 2 hour goes negative, we start to lose the higher time frame 50s on the monthly cons, which I'll show you guys in a second. Then okay, I'll have to be bullish at that point. But for now, my bias at the open was still, I was very, very cautious on playing anything to the long side, and I really wasn't looking to play anything to the long side. I was looking for a short setup. So what did we end up taking today? We ended up taking a short on ES here. I actually got stopped out on this trade. It was 100% good trade. I would take this every single time. It just didn't end up working out this time. So this is what we took. I ended up shorting, let's see, where are we here? I ended up shorting this fib up in here at 10 o'clock. Let's see, what time did I get in this? I forget. So 9:53. So that was right on this tap of it right up in here. I went short. I think I got filled at 78 on this. And yeah, we got a little bit of a pullback, nothing much. This is, I'm not looking to take profit at. This is nothing. This is where you have to understand the risk to reward. Yes, it's you could always just quickly scalp these levels, sure, but your risk to reward is going to be awful. I mean, there's no point in taking quick profits on this trade. You have a set stop, 11 points, okay, and then your TP is 25 points minimum for a trim. That's how I always do it. Unless, we're at a 0DT 50 and we get let's say calls were crossed, which they were, and the 0DT 50 is at 20 points in profit on ES. Okay, I'll probably trim at 20 points. It's just the logical thing to do. If we're at the 50 SMA on the 0DT chart, okay, I'll take a trim, but that just never ended up happening. So if we look here on the 0DTs now, we did get a little bit of a pullback. I think we pulled back to the 10 SMA, and that was it. Yeah. So we got this pullback right here to the 10, and then we got stopped on this move. So if this ended up pulling back to the 50, I probably would have been up 25 points anyways, because I think we peaked up 12 points, maybe 14 points, something like that. So, if we got all the way down here, probably would have hit that 25 point mark anyways. But, if we come down to the 50 just for future reference on the 0DT chart and we're up 20 points, okay, I'm probably going to take half off there. That's just, it makes sense to do that. So, yeah, that's what we ended up taking. If we go back here, you guys could see what ended up happening. Okay, broke above this fib. Even though we broke above this fib, if we go to the 30-minute, we closed above it multiple times, but I was still leaning a bit bearish, and it has to do with the monthly chart. This is where the monthly cons are, they give you just a bigger picture outlook, and, even though we closed above that fib, I really was not interested in taking any long. So if I could find this, I think it's the third one here. Yeah, it's the April contract. So if you guys don't know, monthly contracts, all right, you pick them every Monday. You don't pick them on Friday because they're further out expiration. And if you go to the options chain, on SPY, there's going to be contracts, every week, and then there's going to be, they all say weeklies except for one contract every single month, and that contract that doesn't say weeklies is the monthly contract, and that's where I look at the 4-hour and the daily. Only time frames I look at. I do not care about the 30-minute. It has no significance for me. It has to do with the 4-hour and the daily. These are massive, massive, massive pivot points in the market. I went over this multiple times over the last week or two, but you guys can even see just on this 4-hour chart alone, these marked like temporary bottoms here. Pulled back to the 50, temporary bottom from Tuesday all the way till Friday. Couple day, bottom put in. What happened again? Pulled back Tuesday to the 50. What happened? Another temporary bottom for a few days. So what happened today? Pulled back to the 50 once again. And would I, if we dump from here, would I be surprised? No, this is such a massive spot in the market. And even on the daily chart, which the 50 ended up showing up, I believe, on Friday, this 50 ended up appearing. So now we finally have even more support here at this 50, and we pulled back pretty much to it today. And yeah, look what happened. We got a wick above the 10. We're holding the 10 SMA. I'd imagine we will go lower from here. And if it doesn't, okay, it could still pull back again to the 50. Who knows? But I'm actually in a swing on QQQ puts for the first. There was massive volume on these contracts, so that is why I went with the QQQ puts. I just looked at the option chain, and they had massive volume, so I'm like, okay, I'm just going to follow whoever these people are that are taking these, and it lines up with this chart too, so perfect. Yeah, as long as we stay above this 50, I'm leaning bearish. There's really nothing for me to be bullish about at the moment when we have the monthly contract sitting at massive support. That's the great thing about the system. It's like if this happens, you do this. If that happens, you do that. It's very simple. So as long as we're sitting above this daily 50, I'm going to be bearish. It's very, very simple. And then once we get the weekly confirmation of, weekly trend flipping bearish, then that'll be even more bearish. Like that's where the conviction will come for the intraday trades once we get the 30-minute chart to cross on puts again on the weekly cons. So we got that dip to the 50. I didn't add right at the 50. I added a little bit in the afternoon before the end of the day dump. So we were up like 20% at the close on our puts. And yeah, I mean, there really wasn't anything else to do today. If we just look here at the 5-minute, I mean, this is such an ugly chart. This is why I stopped trading for the day after that first short. I mean, look at this. Absolutely ugly. And we pull up the call side. Chart, or no, this is not the call side. What am I looking at? What chart am I looking at right here? So I know we got a negative cross on something. I swear it was the 5-minute chart here. Was it this? No, this definitely. These are the month or the weeklies. My bad. So there's that chart and then the fourth one here. Nope, that's ES, bro. Where did the call side go here? 659 calls. Yeah. So this chart ended up crossing negative. Not the best trade, I would say, just because like the risk to reward wasn't there on this. Only reason I'm even bringing this up is because we ended up, if we pull up ES here, we ended up breaking back below this fib here. So with us breaking back below the fib and with us bouncing off monthly support on the 4-hour daily chart, and then also the calls going negative, yes, I mean, this could be a valid trade to take if it gave like a better entry. That's where like the negative crosses you have to be careful with, because there's always a possibility of us pulling back to the 50 before it actually, makes the move. So I just keep losing these contracts. My gosh, what am I doing here? But I'm just going to pull it up here. We got this negative cross. Risk to reward wasn't really there on this trade. I mean, by the time we actually crossed negative, contracts were all the way down here. So, I mean, it's just not worth the risk, in my opinion, to take it. And if you did, super tight stop. Wasn't really something I was interested in with how the price action was going. So that's pretty much all that happened today. And going into tomorrow, and also on the short today, I was only half size because I still wasn't like fully I didn't have the most conviction in it in the short, just because of it was just ugly charts on the 30-minute. I think this exactly happened last time we had this type of move where, okay, 30-minute charts looked pretty ugly. We got stopped out in our short, and then eventually we ended up getting the drop end of the day. But it's still a good short. Still would have taken it. Still worth a try. That was like a valid trade to take. If you took a loss, who cares? It was 10 points. I mean, or 11 points, whatever. Very small losses. Our winners are always doubles, triple that. So that's a good thing about the fib trades. Tomorrow, a very simple game plan. What are we looking like? Neutral. Okay, well, 30-minute chart. 50 SMA is kind of curled up still. This is going to be the key chart. If we go across here, 30-minute, we're going to see a significant move lower, because that will pretty much hold all these other time frames at the 50. I know they don't look the greatest right now, but if 30-minute chart, if we gap down tomorrow and we cross, okay, significant move lower is going to happen. This 50 is going to curl again on the 4 hour. I don't think there's a daily 50. Yeah, there's not. And then when it comes to the fibs here, what are we going to be looking for to watch? So pretty much we break back below 123.6. We are back to shorting the pops. We break above 66.76. We are flipping the fibs. So your new low would be this pivot right here. So we're going to end up flipping the 100% mark. 100% goes all the way up to the 70.18 level, and then 0% gets dragged to this recent low if we break out to the upside on the 30-minute. If we break back below the 65.96 level, the 123.6, then we keep the fibs as is, and we are looking for shorts off of the fib. So like a break and retest of that 65.96 would be a valid trade to take. And if we break out higher, above this level here, I'm still gonna be cautious. Like I really don't want to be buying in the dip mode at the moment, just because of what those monthlies look like. So for me, tomorrow I'm only gonna be focused on the shorts. I'm looking for probably a short setup, and that'll be that, like a cross on puts, fib short. That'll be pretty much what I'm gonna be looking for, because the monthly cons I can't really be bullish about. I just wouldn't have conviction in a long. So that's kind of my game plan going into tomorrow. I'm gonna be looking for a short trade, whatever the system gives. I'll be looking for. So yeah, that's all I got. Hope you guys enjoyed. Drop a sub. Join the Court if you want to learn. I'm out. Peace.